Welcome to the Realist Show Out. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to like and leave a comment down below. Today we have a special guest who goes by the name of Joe GAYA. Thank you for being on the show. Absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure, my bro.
Absolute pleasure to have you on the show. We're really excited. Thank you so much. My first question, what made you get into music and what inspires and motivates your music?
Music, for me, music has always been in my background. It's in my history. Growing up in a musical household played a big role because my father is a musician. He used to be part of a band that he owned, and he's a singer and he plays guitar. So being around such a father, I mean, it's bound to happen. And on top of that, when I'm in school, being in school in the UK, like I was around during that time growing up. I was around a lot of MCs, you know, people who were MCing, clashing during break, during lunch. So in a household, I'll be around this African music energy, and in school, I'll be around this UK music energy. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, the combination of two environments.
Yeah.
Having an influence.
Yeah.
And what would you say motivates your music in terms of the great songs that you write, the composition? What kind of, take us through the thought process?
First of all, having the passion is another thing. So those environments, those circumstances helped me to have the passion. But now what motivates me is what I realized was missing, which wasn't there. Like at the time, a lot of the people who are from my indigenous country, who are in the UK, they were all doing UK style grime, and that was just that. So I kind of felt like they weren't really representing their cultures enough. And my thing was to be that artist that, you know, doesn't dismiss where I grew up, but at the same time, I also tried to involve my culture in my music. But at the time when I started doing it, that kind of style wasn't really, really popular. So you would find that it was just me chasing a vision that's years to come in a time where not many people are going to understand that. Yeah.
And that brings me on to my next question.
Yeah.
What musician inspired you the most? Because you're very talented, you're able to articulate yourself through your lyrics, and the music vibe is absolutely incredible. What musician inspires you the most?
There's artists that have inspired me, but the main one is Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson simply because he wasn't just a musician. He's someone that was spreading good messages in his music. So I realized that, you know what, you can just be an artist who just entertains, and when you die, people forget about you. Or you can actually leave a mark on people's hearts. Or you can actually leave music that actually changes the planet and actually heals the world. So Michael Jackson, even though the genre style probably different from what I do, but either way, I'm inspired by what he showed us, by by the messages he was spreading in his music. Yeah.
Could you maybe elaborate on some of the characteristics, or what particular was it about Michael Jackson that inspired you?
For instance, his kind heart, and that was demonstrated in the songs. Look at the song "Heal the World," yeah,
powerful song.
You know, look at the song "Heal the World." It just talks about healing the planet, being kind to one another, spreading love, being compassionate. You know, that's the kind of music that helps to create a world of peace. So, however much I grew up in an area like Tottenham, my vision is different. And the kind of things I want to see in the world is that. And he's one of those artists that was showing me that. Do you know what I'm saying? I have other artists that inspired me, of course, but that's the main one that I've loved from young.
And that brings me on to my next question. Yeah. In terms of the UK scene, what artist are you inspired by the most in the UK scene right now?
In the UK scene, in terms of there's great talent in the UK, no doubt. And me picking one person doesn't mean anybody else is not good. There's a lot of talent in the UK, but in terms of inspiration, I feel like Stormzy, because for me, I don't just look at this nice music. You understand? I look at how the person's representing where they came from. In terms of talking about someone who can be an idol, someone to look up to, I think Stormzy, just like I said to Mike about Michael Jackson, he's not just an artist. He's someone that actually he demonstrated that he cares about where he came from. He cares about his community, so he gives back. I love people who achieve their success and then they also use their success as a platform for others to be better.
And not a lot of artists are doing that.
Not a lot of artists are doing that.
Why is that?
Because
in your personal opinion.
My personal opinion, normally when an artist is just beginning, they have a shallow mind. It's like they're just looking at this. They're just looking at being a star. They're just looking at shining. They're just looking at the glamorous things, and I guess their mind is just excited at the time. So it's until they go through it, they go through the struggles, they realize that, you know what, actually, we need to start valuing people a bit more. We need to start appreciating every individual a bit more, because now they start seeing the real harsh reality of the industry. But before they start off, it looks easy. It looks like it's something that's just gonna be, you just sing a song, you wake up in the morning, and you're a star. That's it. So I feel like a lot of times they're just looking at it like that, and because when they make the music which is not really empowering to other people, but music which just talks about certain situations, or music that shows a dark side, they have a lot of support. And a lot of times, a lot of support can blind you. A lot of support can make you think you're doing the right thing. Yeah.
My next question: if you had to listen to one song for the rest of your life, what song would it be and why? This is also a question to the listeners and viewers. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let us know what song you would listen to and what song it would be and why for the rest of your life.
I'm going to go back to the Heal the World song. Simply because 10 years from now, the message still makes sense. That message will never get old. Do you understand? That message, it will still speak to you. But then there's music I call it bubblegum music. There's music that's just there for 1 month, 2 months. It blows, it goes viral quickly, but it dies out quickly. And once it dies out, even people that used to listen to it, they grow. By the way, even your listeners mature. After some time, your listeners will be like, wow, I can't believe I was listening to this. Do you understand? But that kind of music, it's music that actually speaks. It's music that touches people. You understand? I love that kind of music. So that's a song for me I'll listen to when I'm old. I'll listen to it. Do you understand? But there's music I'm listening to now that I won't listen to when I'm a certain age. You get me?
And that's really important about music being timeless and music having a meaning, being connected with having value and playing again. What do you feel that separates music? What makes music valuable and what makes music not valuable?
What makes music valuable to me is the lyrical content, the impact it has on people, the listeners. Yeah, you can listen to a song at the right time when you've lost faith, when you've lost confidence in yourself, and that message uplifts you instantly. You get me? And you end up doing something that seemed impossible just because of that message. It's like how many you can discuss right now. You see how you would normally talk to me, give me some advice. Imagine someone giving you advice lyrically through a song.
It's going to help you.
When it's rhyming. You understand? You're going to listen to that. Hence why people like Tupac up to now, they're still trending. Yes, he did some rude boy tunes as well. He did some crazy tunes as well. But that just shows that he's human. But at the same time, he also showed you, he has music that actually teaches you. In no matter what class you are, no matter what kind of level you're at in life, this is a guy you're gonna respect because he's showing you that, he can tap on certain situations that we experience in life that people are scared to talk about because they think when I sing about this situation, I'm not gonna make money.
Brings me on to my next question. What advice do you have for young aspiring musicians, especially being such a talented musician yourself, an experienced musician, a successful musician? What advice do you have for young aspiring musicians?
The main advice I would say I have, and it's something that we all go through it. A lot of the times when we're just starting up, we want to be like somebody, that we love. Yeah, I might be a big fan of yours, but you're just supposed to inspire me for me to be myself, to discover myself, to explore myself, to reach that Joe Gaya who I see in my vision. Yeah. But a lot of the mistakes that the new artists make here, because they love, let's say, Tion Wayne, or they love this guy, or they love whoever guy, they want to then emulate that person to the extent that they end up losing themselves. You know? And I feel like so the message really, realistically, is to be yourself, because whenever you emulate somebody, people will never get to know who you are, and you will never get to know who you are or who you're supposed to be or to become. So my main message is for them to be patient whilst being themselves, to be themselves and to be patient for the process. Because a lot of the times when it's like, when the trend is telling you go left and your vision and your heart telling you go right, sometimes there's conflict, because the majority are saying this, the majority are copying this, but then your creative mind is saying, nah, do this. So I always feel like a lot of time God even speaks to us through that voice that a lot of people don't understand. And that's why a lot of the times the voice that doesn't make sense in the moment ends up shocking you or surprising you a few years to come, and you're like, rah, I'm glad I stuck to this style that looked stupid. This style that didn't make sense before. It's not the shit. Now you're the leader of that.
Trending topic.
Now there's someone out there that needs to also understand that they shouldn't copy you. Because they also now want to try to be like you.
It pays to be unique. It pays to be yourself. And that's really important in the message you're portraying.
But the process is long, so the process can give you doubt. You get me?
And what do you do in those situations where you feel doubt?
In those situations when you feel doubt, when you feel those doubts, you have to kind of like get back to your own space. You have to try to remind yourself. Some people use affirmations. Some people surround themselves in the right environments, the right circumstances, the right atmosphere. Because there's certain situations that will definitely sabotage your light. That inner spirit that's meant to shine. There's certain situations, certain crowds, certain people you keep around you who are not healthy for that. So it's like you need to surround yourself around people who you believe in, who you can see that they're also doing great. You know, people who have no time to hate. People who have no time to hate. People who are doing great. Don't be afraid to be around people who are better than you. You understand? Because it will trigger you to also push a bit further. It's like going to the gym. Personally, when I go to gym on my own, I do less than when I go with someone that's a bit more experienced.
Because you're not accountable. When you're with somebody, you got somebody to push you and motivate you, someone to be accountable.
Even when you don't realize it, it's a psychological thing.
Definitely.
When you see this person go a bit harder than you, you end up pushing yourself a little bit more. So you end up achieving a goal that you didn't think you can achieve. So I believe it's the same with us. Because sometimes we box ourselves based on what we're used to. So sometimes you're used to yourself being who you are, the way you are, the kind of things you do. Yet there's more to us. There's limitless potential in us. It's just that we don't and in order for that to come out, sometimes you have to put yourself in situations that spark that to manifest. Do you understand?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, can you elaborate on that a bit more? Because I feel like you're touching on you've made so many valid points, Joe. And I feel that I just want these young people, viewers, to really take what you're saying. Could you just elaborate a bit more on the manifestation, staying positive, staying focused, staying driven, how you've done it?
First of all,
how have you managed to stay so driven in such a demanding industry?
Because I kept on reminding myself of the vision and telling myself that vision is not a lie, and looking at people that's made it as an example and listening to their stories. And some of these stories actually show me that I'm normal. I'm not running mad. I'm just like them. They were just like me. So why is it that sometimes I want to give up? Do they also go through that? Of course they do. All these people that's made it that you look up to, have they gone through those moments where they doubt in what they've achieved before they achieved it? Oh yes, they went through those things. So then that means we're just the same. We're all humans. It's just that we go through some of our challenges are a bit unique, but overall, just like a hospital, the medication is the same for some of those situations. It's just constantly believing in that vision. So a lot of the times you have a vision before you jump into the ocean, yeah, but you can see where you want to go. You can see the end of where you want to go. You can see the destination. You can see it in your head. But it's until you go into the ocean to swim, you find things that distract you. You find this person with this idea. You find that person telling you this other thing that conflicts with what you were saying. And all of a sudden, you start having doubts on what you had. But once you realize that that voice that told you this thing was making sense, was good, wasn't lying to you, you just have to be consistent with that. No matter what, circumstances change, situations change. What doesn't make sense right now? A situation is gonna come where it's gonna start making sense. You understand? It's just a matter of time, you know. It's just a matter of time, and I believe that through that you're sowing seeds. Every time, whenever every time you wake up and you contribute to that vision, that's a seed. But sometimes some seeds take longer to grow, but it doesn't mean it's not growing. It's manifesting. It's taking place. So every time you take every time you have that, you're spending in environments that do not empower you, environments that put you down, environments that dim your light. Yeah, you're definitely in the wrong places, because even that's a seed. You understand? So every day that you're taking out and finding people, like-minded people, every day that you're taking out, you know, like if you're an artist, you're trying to be someone huge, and your vision is huge, your vision is big. Find your fellow artists who believe in themselves. Be around them. Like me, there was a time I lost motivation. I'm not gonna lie. I had to link up with a few of my dons, like, who are doing good, especially in the UK industry. Not to do anything like or to copy them or what, but just to be around them, to see how they believe in themselves, and that touched me. Like, it made me realize that, okay, all I need is to believe in myself. I don't have to. We all have different products, but the key is the same: belief. Because people, when you believe in yourself, that's what makes people believe in you. You understand? That's what not your good products. People who, I'm not gonna lie,
It's contagious.
you can be whack at what you're doing, but your confidence can make you blow past all of us who are so talented. It's the confidence. Your confidence can make someone buy a product that they didn't want to buy. Your confidence can make you sell this cup for £1,000. You understand?
It's power and belief.
Yeah.
Really believing and then applying that belief.
But it's just that the process of the journey is that there's days whereby it's like, damn, would it work today? You know? So now the reality is fighting the vision. The reality is challenging the belief. This is what you're supposed to fight. This is where you take it to the Bible a little bit. Yeah? Faith is what? The substance of what?
Things hopeful, not yet seen.
Not yet seen.
So you're believing in something that you haven't seen, and you receive it almost,
Yeah.
because you believe.
Because
your belief is so strong.
Yeah, because you're not like, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Yes, when you're starting up, you might be a one-man team. And that's what discourages you. Especially when you see people who have made it and are arrogant. It can discourage you. It can make you feel like, damn, were these people just lucky? You know? Did they have it on a silver spoon? Was it easy for them? Me being the person I am today, there's not many people like me. How am I gonna, you know? But once you understand that's your power, that's the beauty, that's what's making you unique, you would embrace it and you take it to the world, bro. Yeah, that's my elaboration on that.
Thank you so much, Joe. Voice for Youth Against Violence is all about empowering lives, changing communities. Which brings me on to my next question. Why do young people join gangs, in your opinion? And what can we do to help young people exit gangs?
Okay. From my experience growing up in North London, Tottenham, and what I remember, what I've gathered, is that people join gangs for different reasons, not the same reasons. Some people join gangs blindly because they think, oh, it's just a bunch of friends. Oh, I'm just chilling with my friends. They enter blindly. They don't realize they're entering. That's one person. And there's another person who like thinks this thing looks like it looks like glitter it looks like gold on the outside. Why? Because certain man them, that crew, looks like they've got peas, like they're making money, like they're doing well. So then it looks glitter on the outside. So it looks like it's, you know, shining on the outside. So then you think it's gonna be the same once you get in there. So then a lot of people are like, they're blinded by these things that look nice. Yeah, these flashy things. So then they want to join because of that. And there's some other people who are just fans. So they're fans of certain characters. So they want to emulate those characters. And some people, they enter through being misled by someone they look up to. Yeah?
It's a common one as well.
Yeah, someone they look up to. And some people enter because every day that they walk out of their house, this is what they look at. It's what they see. You know, the devil, when the devil is trying to grab you, it doesn't come. It doesn't come like at you. Like, it doesn't come at you so strongly, like all at once. When the devil's trying to come at you, he comes step by step, bit by bit, that you don't even realize that you're changing, or that you're transforming, or you're now acting out of character, or you're being part of another. You're joining.
By believing falsehood, believing lies. Almost.
Yeah. So, what I think can help is being more kind. Because think about it. Once a person's corrupt mentally, even if you do like certain things to help them, they might not respond to that instantly, or they might not understand the blessing in what you're trying to do for them, or the help, because they don't understand it. They don't have the capacity that you have to understand what you're doing. It's like such people normally appreciate later. So which means as a big brother, or as a big sister, or as a father figure, or as a friend, don't dismiss such friends. Yeah, actually do keep them close. Show them another side that they're not exposed to. You understand? Show them that they can actually have a brother who doesn't do the same things. You understand? Because people actually do learn through experience. They learn through situations. Do you understand? A lot of the times people dismiss like the man them and stuff like that, and feel like, I'm not gonna associate myself with, you know what I'm saying? But not realizing that as human beings, we grow and we learn from each other. There's people who become born again simply because they were hanging around someone like that, and they saw how that changed his life, and then all of a sudden, in his own time, he starts making certain decisions because he's been exposed to it. He's seen the love, the way you treated him, despite of his characters, despite of whatever situation. I'm not saying you should get yourself too involved, because not some people can be challenging to deal with. You get me? You don't want to get yourself in a situation, but there's overall that there are people out there that will be inspired by a good character, by how you treat them. Do you understand? And it might take time, but it always makes a difference. And also providing opportunities and alternatives for that. And what I mean by that, for instance,
what I was about to say, what sort of opportunities would you say? What opportunities are we missing?
Like, for example, I have a brethren who, even his own parents one day came to thank me. Why? Because they were like, we prefer him hanging with you, because he likes hanging with you. He knows you've seen a bit of the street stuff, but at the same time, so he relates with you. Hence why he hangs with you. But whenever he hangs with you, he ends up doing more of his music. He ends up like exploring his talent. He knows how to play the piano. So he ends up playing the piano more. I end up inspiring him. I end up helping him to discover certain things, without even realizing. You get me? And before you know it, he started smoking his weed less. Not everybody, I'm not saying weed is bad, because but some say it's medicine, but not everybody can handle it. You get me?
And anything that alters your mind or has a negative impact on your mind, it's best that we leave it alone.
Yeah.
In terms of if you're doing something and it's having a negative impact on you, and it has no benefit, there's definitely better ways to approach.
100%, you're better off leaving it alone completely. But I'm not gonna lie, there are people who have seen smoke weed for years and they're normal, But my guy, I've seen certain people as well who have developed a double personality.
Yeah, and statistically, more people are more likely to develop mental health issues from smoking cannabis, such as paranoia, schizophrenia, bipolar, etc., various mental health conditions as well.
100%. But yeah, that's what I was summarizing on that point. I would say that if you see people that's going through that kind of lifestyle, like don't be afraid to be a friend, to be nice to them, to be a friend to them. Sometimes people need to see in order to believe that, this is true. Yes, a lot of men are in it for their money and all of that, but at the same time, sometimes they lose themselves in the process. It's because the kind of people that are surrounding them, they all have a similar mindset. How are you gonna grow when everyone around you thinks the same way? So sometimes you need to have another friend who's different from all of you guys, that thinks differently, because then this enables you to see another side to life. Like for me, for example, if I didn't, for me, what helped me, yeah, because growing up in the area I grew up in, definitely I seen madness. But what helped me to not lose a plot, to remain sane, and to remain focused a little bit, was traveling, going away from London. I went to Africa, yeah. I went to Uganda, and it did something to me. It refreshed me.
By the way, which is such an outstanding country. You have to visit. If you have not been to Uganda, you need to get to Uganda.
Yeah, man, it refreshed me. Like, it did something to me, whereby when I came back to the UK, I remember I was like 18, 19, and those are the ages that are usually sensitive. Those kind of ages, they're usually sensitive. That's where you're easily influenced. That's when things can go left if you're not careful. That's when you will lose yourself. That's when you want to revenge. That's when you want to lose it. You know, you don't want to lose it, but that's when you're tempted because of circumstances you're going through. But for me, when I went back to Africa, I started dreaming more, because when I went there, I saw young men, entrepreneurs that were on the street, young businessmen doing their thing, you know, even though their income is not as much, but still the spirit that they carry to even the braveness to go out there and hope to make it, you know, it made me realize that when in this country, we're standing on gold, but we don't even realize it. But perhaps what's making us not realize it is that we've not seen the rest of the world. Sometimes we're too stuck in our mind is so in one box, and that somehow shapes our thinking, the way we see things, which sometimes limits us. And that's why sometimes man them think that all they have is the ends, you know. So I encourage man them to travel a bit more. Literally, like go back to Africa. If you don't have any roots over there, it's okay. Like take a trip. Just take a trip and observe things. Because it worked for me. Like when I came back, I started moving distant towards certain people, not in a negative way. I started realizing that, you know what, actually, my parents came to this country hoping for a better future. So me being their seed, I'm not supposed to take us backwards. I'm supposed to take us forwards. But it's just that the environment that we grow up in is very much of a distraction sometimes. It can confuse you. But then you just need to remember that, hold on a minute. I'm around 20, 30 man them, but we all come from different walks of life. Some of them have a reason to be the way they are. I don't. I'm just being influenced. You get me? Some of us come from different kind of homes where we did get beats when we were younger. You get me? Yeah? Some man them didn't get that father figure to tell them certain things. They did. They told you. But now this one is now this brother's influencing you. You who they taught. You who should know. You get me? You're supposed to be the one now helping this one. You get me? You're supposed to be the one sharing that wisdom that you got from your household. You're supposed to be sharing it with your man them. You get me? Because that wisdom not for you to die with it. You're supposed to be sharing it. You're supposed to be giving it to others. But all the man them that get that wisdom, they allow the other nigga to excuse my French. They allow the other brother.
Thank you.
To influence them. However much someone's got a strong personality, sometimes, trust me, people are not blind. You can have a strong personality, but you're still learning. You still realize that, hold on, Joe said this. But you know what? Joe made some sense. Like even when a guy can be like chilling by himself, just reflecting, it's like, right, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't showing him that he's making sense, but he actually made sense. You get me? So we need to teach each other. We need to not be afraid to share what we know with each other. Do you understand? And not be selfish with what we have in us. Like the good thing in you, share it with others.
This brings me on to my last question. Where can we find your music? What releases do you have coming? And where do we go to find your music, Joe?
So for my music, you can find my music on most social media platforms as Joe GAYA Music. Most. I'm saying most because I believe, let's say most for now, not all of them, but most. Just put Joe GAYA Music. You'll be able to see some of the work that I've put out so far. Yeah.
And do you have any music, any like releases that are coming out? New music coming on the way?
Yeah, I have a lot of new music coming out. That's due to come out. I have tracks that are gonna be very interesting that are about to come out soon. I have the thing is I don't wanna give up. I don't wanna kill the surprise, but let's say I also got some gospel work coming soon. I have a gospel
Amazing, man.
I have a gospel EP that I'm working on, and at the same time, for those listening, it doesn't mean that I'm still not gonna give you the bangers. We're also making the other bangers for you. We're gonna supply you with all your requirements. Trust me, something special is coming.
And Joe, on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Absolute pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you for joining us on the Realist Show Out.
It's a pleasure,
Do not
bro.
forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, thank you for joining us.